What is up, everybody? Jay here with YAIM Gaming, bringing you your Walking Dead review, Season 5, Episode 13, Forget is the title of the episode. Well, what are your initial thoughts of this episode? A little bit slower than some of the ones we'd seen in the past couple of weeks, but it did hold a lot of things to what we needed to see to build up to the next episodes or the next couple of episodes. So let's get right into it right off the bat. Rick and Michonne are the constables, and you get to see Rick, Daryl, and Carol out at that old house where Rick stashed that gun that was now missing, talking about their plan to take some guns. Now, this is a scene, well, not a scene, but this is something that happened in the comic books, similar to this, where they wanted to get their weapons back, just in case they needed them. Now, they're not trying to get their weapons to overthrow Alexandria, but just in case. They don't want, like, the fact that they're not armed and they don't have their weapons on them at all times, because you never know what will happen in this crazy, stupid world we live in. So there's that. So they talk about their plan, and Carol says that she can leave the latch open on the window, and she can just sneak in during this little party they're going to have. So that goes down. Then we get to see Daryl out hunting in the woods when Aaron sneaks up on him. Now, Aaron says he's out hunting rabbits. I really believe that Aaron was actually tracking Daryl. I don't think he was out hunting wabbits or anything like that. I think he was truly out there to find Daryl, and that was that. They see the horse. They have a good conversation, talking about a lot of different things, and kill some walkers. In the end, Buttons the horse bites the dust. It was a sad moment for Buttons, but it happens. We also get to see that Maggie has a job as an assistant to Deanna in the politics department, she says. I think this is foreshadowing something for Maggie. For you comic book readers, you know that Maggie has a more significant role coming in the time to come. She's going to have a major role, and she's going to become a leader later on down the line. I don't want to spoil the show for anybody that hasn't read the comic books, so just keep that in mind, that Maggie does have a significant role in the overall plot of the story later on. Right now, she's playing to exactly what she's supposed to be, and that is, the cute Carol. We also get to see the cocktail party going down, and we get to see Carol acting as the homemaker and blending in, and she actually tells Rick that she is invisible. That's why she should be the one to steal the guns. Nobody is watching her because nobody thinks anything of her. She's playing this role to a T. She is becoming this housewife, and that's what everybody thinks she is, just a den mother for the entire group. Now, I'm curious to know if Deanna is onto her or not, because Deanna says she can read people, and I wonder if she knows that Carol was lying all along. She's gone back and watched the videos, that she's seen everything. I wonder if she knows now that Carol is playing, the fool, basically. We also get to see Sasha losing her shit, basically. I think she's losing her mind. She's going crazy. You saw her in the very opening scene, shooting those pictures with her rifle, and then just sitting on the stump saying, "Come to get me." Like she was hearing things. I don't know if they were really walkers out there in the woods, or if those were noises that we were supposed to hear in her head. I personally think they were supposed to be in her head and nothing more than that, and that she's just kind of losing it a little bit. When she returns, Rick says to Deanna, as part of his job as constable, they need to do more than just walk the walls, that somebody needs to be in that clock tower, and that's where Sasha volunteers. She's like, I'll do all the shifts. I don't care, I think she just wants to be out of the town. I think she doesn't want to be around other people, and I think she's still coping with the losses of Bob and Tyrese, and is finally really catching up with her. We saw it a little bit when they were on the road to Alexandria, where she was breaking rank and losing it there, losing her cool. But I think now she's starting to lose it even more. And it's probably going to come back to bite her in the ass. Anybody that acts like that is probably going to have a moment where they really do lose their shit. So, now we'll get to the party. Now, the plan at the party is Carol's going to sneak out and go get the guns. And that's that, and Rick is mingling around with the group. You get to meet Deanna's husband, where he says, you're an amazing man. And Rick's like, no, well, you built the wall. And he's like, yeah, but you survived with these 14 other people, this, that, and the other. And it's a good little conversation. You see Rick kind of open up, and he takes a drink of the scotch. And, he's just kind of loosening up for a change. He's been wound so tight this whole time, and it's about time that he kind of loosens up. Then Jessie, her children, and her husband show up, and you can tell that there's something there. Even before that little kiss scene, you could tell that Rick's kind of eyeballing Jessie. I mean, she's an attractive woman. I don't blame you, Rick. So he's got his eye on her, which is very unlike Rick because she's a married woman. You wouldn't think that Rick would play the Shane role in this encounter, but it almost seems like that's what they're doing with him, where he's almost like Shane in an instant, which in a lot of things that he is doing now, he's acting like Shane was previously. He's more tyrannical. And I think if Shane had still been alive, the group might actually be in a little better shape than they were because he was like Rick is now, where he doesn't trust anybody. Everything's too good to be true, this, that, and the other. You also see Rick get the stamp on his hand from Jesse's son, the A. I personally think this was a callback to Train Car A from Terminus. And because you see him kind of looking down at it like this, and I think he, right there in his head, he kind of had a flashback to, oh, yeah, A. That's where we almost got eaten. So there's that. And you get to see Daryl come back. Aaron invites him in for some spaghetti. As you see Daryl sloppily suck up some spaghetti and kind of has this little comical moment with how he's eating it. And Eric brings up about the job, but Aaron has not yet told Daryl. He then takes him out in the garage and shows him all these motorcycle parts. And, Daryl's eyes kind of get real big. And Daryl agrees to become the other recruiter with Aaron, which I think is a great job for him because, as Aaron says, he can tell the good people from the bad. Aaron was mystified when he could tell a person from a walker in one of those early scenes in the show. And now he's saying, you can tell the good people from the bad. But if you think back to the Claimers, is Daryl's judgment really good, or is it just kind of clouded? Or did he join those Claimers just because it was a necessity and he knows that you can't survive without a group? Daryl's always been kind of a loner, but maybe this is his moment to kind of open up and realize that he needs this town. He needs these people to help him survive in the long run. We'll see how it goes. I guess next episode maybe won't be so Daryl-centric anyway. I think it's going to be more on Abe's group and what's going on outside the walls. We haven't seen Eugene or Father Gabriel, and they were both hinted at in the sneak peeks for next episode, 514. So we'll see where it goes from there. So Carol, let's get into this now. Carol sneaks out of the party like she's supposed to, gets into the weapons locker, takes a chocolate bar out of the freezer. If you notice that, because Olivia said she could only ration her a quarter of a piece of chocolate bar, Carol takes a whole half of a chocolate bar, it looks like, and puts that in her purse first, and then proceeds to take the guns when Jesse's younger son comes in and says, "What are you doing?" And he was kind of hoping she was going to make more cookies. And then it's when you get this speech from Carol when you're like, oh man, this bitch is crazy, where she basically says, if you tell anybody, you're going to wake up outside the walls, tied to a tree, screaming, and no one will hear you. And the walkers, they'll eat you while you're still alive. Basically put the fear of God in this poor boy. And hopefully he doesn't say anything, so she doesn't do that. But I honestly feel that Carol would probably do that to this kid at this point. She's very good at playing possum. She's very good at this role she's in. And she even tells the kid, look, if you don't tell, I'll just bring you cookies every day. Hey, man, if you're like, was a kid like 8, 9 years old, fuck, man, bring me some cookies. Hell, I'll take cookies right now. Honey, get on them cookies. I'm probably going to get yelled at here in a second, but that's that. So then at the end, we get to see Rick walking along, and he sees Jessie and her husband and her son, her older son, walking towards their house. And there for a second, he reaches behind his back, grabbing for that weapon that he got from Carol. Almost like, what was he going to do right there? Was he going to put a bullet in that guy's head because he has feelings for Jessie? I don't know what he was going to do. That's kind of creepy. Rick may be losing it just a little bit. We also got to see that Daryl did not want to take a gun. That now that he has found Aaron to be a kind of cool dude and he's kind of making a friendship there, he didn't want to take the gun. He said, "No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I got my crossbow." You know, he's which Daryl could survive anyway. And then we get to see Rick going up to the fence and putting his hand on the wall. I don't know if he was kind of making a statement with that walker, like he could hear that walker and he knew that there was something in between them, or if Rick kind of feels like a caged animal and he's kind of going to go crazy or something of that nature. You never know with him because he's starting to lose it. Anyway, that's my kind of synopsis and rundown. I think next week we're going to get to see a little bit more of what Abraham is doing on the outside of the wall. He is on the construction crew, as far as I can tell. So we're going to get to see what he's doing there. It also looks like we get to see Father Gabriel and Eugene in the next episode, which is about time. I don't really care for Gabriel's character too much. I don't think he has much to offer at this point. I mean, what's he going to do? Open a church? Maybe it's just another sign of civilization. I also think that we're maybe going to find a new threat, as you saw in the very beginning when they killed that walker with the W carved into its forehead. What does that mean? I think it's pointing towards a group that's been kind of speculated on the internet called the Wolves. In the comics, there was a group when they first got to Alexandria that were scavengers. They called them the Scavengers. There was a line that the Scavengers used in the comics that kind of perceived them to be wolves. And if you notice in the mid-season premiere, when they made it to Noah's community, that there was something spray painted on the wall that said "Wolves not far." Maybe they're hinting at something. Maybe there is a bad group that's getting closer, because we saw that in where was that? Richmond was where Noah's little hometown was, and now they're in Alexandria. I don't know what the distance is there, but based on how long it took them to get there, it's probably about right that this group could be showing up if they were on foot. Let's see where this goes. Maybe that's who in the sneak peek that Abraham and them were shooting at. We also got to see in the sneak peek, it was Pete, which is Jesse's husband, in Rick's house, drunk, saying, "Why don't you send your kids to get a checkup?" That's probably not a good idea, and you can see Rick's got that look in his eyes when he walks away, and I think Rick knows something's up with this guy, and he's probably going to start some shit because he's got the hots for Jessie, and he probably thinks he's doing something bad to her and her children. So we'll see where that goes. If you guys have any thoughts on the episode, if you have any questions on the episode, please let me know down in the comments section. If you're watching this and seeing me for the first time, the fuck, dude, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Stay for a while. We do this every Monday during the season. When the season is over, we will be doing this as news comes in. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see y'all on the next one.